Good morning. Today I'll be dealing with extended spectrum penicillins. Extended spectrum penicillins, this comes under the synthetic penicillin group and it is a third category. And this extended spectrum penicillins, they are subcategorized again into aminopenicillins, carboxypenicillins and uridopenicillins. Now let's start off with aminopenicillins. Aminopenicillins, this is basically led by ampicillin and they have an amino group attached to the side of the chain, and this is not resistant to the penicillinase. Now let us start off with the ampicillin drug. It is very active against all organisms sensitive to penicillin G, that is your natural penicillin, and in addition to that, many gram-negative bacilli, for example like Histolytica influenzae, E. coli, Proteus, Salmonella and Shigella, these organisms are also inhibited by this particular drug. It is more active than the natural penicillin for Streptococcus viridis and Enterococci, Pneumococci, Gonococci and Meningococci, but less active against other gram-positive cocci. Pharmacokinetics. When this drug is taken orally, it gets well absorbed, but in the presence of food, the food will be interfering with its absorption. It is partly excreted in bile and it gets reabsorbed once it enters into enterohepatic circulation, and it is mainly excreted through kidneys. Dosage 0.5 to 2 grams oral or intramuscular or intravenous depending upon the severity of infections every 6 hours. And in case of children, we go for administering the dosage of 25 to 50 milligrams per kg per day. Uses. This can be used in case of urinary tract infection. Urinary tract infection. So this will be considered as a drug of choice for acute infection. But suppose if you find that it's showing a lot of resistance, or the patient is not responding well, resistance is being found, in such kind of cases you can go for administering or substituting it with fluoroquinolones or clotrimazole in case of urinary tract infection. In case of respiratory tract infections like bronchitis, sinusitis, then in case of otitis media, 50 to 80 milligrams per kg per day will be administered. In case of meningitis, this is considered as a first-line drug, and if resistance is found, it has to be combined with a third-generation cephalosporin or chloramphenicol. Gonorrhea, this is being considered as a first-line drug of choice, and a single dose 3.5 grams of ampicillin with 1 gram probenecid will be administered in case of urethritis. Then the next indication was typhoid fever, but due to the emergence of resistance, this has been rarely used, and it is shown very less efficiency when compared to ciprofloxacin. Bacillary dysentery. So Shigella responds very well to ampicillin, and sometimes we can go for quinolones also in case of any resistance if it is being found. In case of cholecystitis, this ampicillin will be used. In case of subacute bacterial endocarditis, 2 grams intravenously every 6 hours it is being given, and at the same time concurrently gentamicin can also be advocated. Septicemias and mixed infections, in such kind of a case, injected ampicillin with gentamicin or one of the third generation cephalosporins can be incorporated. Adverse effects. Now following oral administration, you can notice diarrhea, rashes can be noticed in patients with AIDS, in case of EB virus infections or any kind of lymphatic leukemia. Interactions. Hydrocortisone inactivates ampicillin if mixed in the intravenous solution. Failure of contraception, so you will have to advise the patient to switch over to other contraceptive methods. and probenecid retards the excretion of ampicillin. Renal excretion of ampicillin will be retarded. So these are the interactions, so you have to use it very carefully, and if the patient is on corticosteroid, a special care should be thought about it. And it's better to collect the history of medications they are on, and if you find that the patient is on any kind of oral contraceptives, you have to advise them to go for any other contraceptives. Moving over to the next drug under aminopenicillin is vacampicillin. Vacampicillin. It is an ester prodrug of ampicillin, which is nearly completely absorbed from gastrointestinal tract. It is largely hydrolyzed during absorption, and high plasma levels are attained. Tissue penetration is also very much better, and does not disturb the intestinal ecology. Dose 400 to 800 milligrams twice a day. Talampicillin, vampicillin, and hetacillin. These are the other drugs which are the prodrugs of ampicillin. And a combination of ampicillin and cloxacillin, which is available like Ampiclox. It contains 250 milligrams of each per capsule or per vial, and this can be used in case of post-operative skin and soft tissue or respiratory, urinary and other infections. In these kind of cases, we can go for using it in the combination with cloxacillin. And the next commonly used drug, very common and very well known in the market, it's also known to people, is amoxicillin. Amoxicillin. It is a congener of ampicillin, but it differs from ampicillin. Though it's a congener, there is a lot of difference. One thing is it is better absorbed orally. The food does not interfere with the absorption, whereas in case of ampicillin, food does interfere with its absorption. Diarrhea is very rare, and it is less active against Shigella and Histolytica influenzae, whereas the ampicillin was very good against Shigella and Histolytica influenzae, but here it is less active against Shigella and H. influenzae. So this particular feature you have to remember. Now uses, it can be used in bronchitis, urinary tract infection, as well as in case of gonorrhea. Dosage 0.25 to 1 gram thrice a day, either orally or via intramuscular injections. Okay, so this is all about aminopenicillins. So in aminopenicillins, we have important one is ampicillin and amoxicillin. Okay, and then we have the vacampicillin. All right. Now moving over to the next one is carboxypenicillins. Carboxypenicillins. In carboxypenicillin we have carbanicillin. Carbanicillin. Now this is active against Pseudomonas aeruginosa and indole positive protease. Indole positive protease, which are not inhibited by natural penicillin or aminopenicillins. So there is an important feature hidden over here. These organisms like Pseudomonas aeruginosa and indole positive protease, okay, which are not inhibited by the natural penicillin as well as aminopenicillin, they are sensitized over here. Okay, they are caught up by this particular drug. It is neither penicillinase resistant nor acid resistant. It is inactive orally and it is excreted rapidly in urine. So it has a half-life of only 1 hour. It is used as sodium salt in a dose of 1 to 2 gram intramuscular or 1.5 gram intravenous every 4 to 6 hours. Every 4 to 6 hours. Now, drawbacks. There are certain drawbacks when we use this particular drug in high dose. One thing is it can cause fluid retention, okay, and congestive heart failure can be noticed in patient with borderline renal or cardiac function, and it causes bleeding. So just because its half-life is just 1 hour, we may get the tendency of increasing its dosage, which is very risky because of these drawbacks. So we have to consider it well with the patient condition. Indications: when do we go for using it? In case of serious infections caused by Pseudomonas or Proteus, like in case of burns, in case of urinary tract infections and septicemia, in these three important cases, okay, they go for using this. But due to this major drawbacks and half-life and the other features which are being considered, okay, instead of this they have started using piperacillin. Piperacillin, that particular drug is being preferred in this particular case. And it can also be used together with gentamicin, but the two should not be mixed together in the same syringe. Alright, so that is the important thing we have to keep in our mind. And the second drug under carboxypenicillin, it is ticarcillin. Ticarcillin. It is more potent than carbonicillin against Pseudomonas, but other properties are similar to it. So this is an advantage, added advantage of ticarcillin. Okay, whereas all the other properties remain the same. Now, this third subcategory, uridopenicillins. Uridopenicillin, and the first drug under that is piperacillin. So I had mentioned about piperacillin, like instead of carbonicillin, in case of urinary tract infection, septicemia and burns. Okay, if the Pseudomonas or Proteus cause infection in any of these cases, in any of these indications, they go, instead of using the carbonicillin, they go for substituting it with piperacillin. Okay, so piperacillin is actually a uridopenicillin. So this is anti-Pseudomonal penicillin, and it is 8 times more active than carbonicillin. So you need to remember that particular point. It is 8 times more active or more potent than carbonicillin. It possesses a good activity against Klebsiella and also mainly used in neutropenic or immunocompromised patients with gram-negative infections as well as in burns. Elimination half-life is just 1 hour. Concurrent use of gentamicin or tobramycin is advised over here. Right? Dose, it is available is 1 gram, 2 gram vials. Then it has another brand name called as a Pipracil, 2 grams, 4 grams vials for injection, and it contains 2 milliequivalents sodium per gram. This is one more content of the particular drug. And the last 2 drugs, meslocillin and azlocillin. Meslocillin and azlocillin. It has an activity similar to ticarcillin. Ticarcillin is actually belonging to the carboxypenicillin, so it has got an action similar to ticarcillin against Pseudomonas, and also it inhibits Klebsiella as well. Okay, so if you want to memorize, just you can remember carboxylin, you have the entry of Pseudomonas and the Proteus organisms being entered over here. But when it comes to uridopenicillins, you have the entry of Klebsiella here. Okay, so these important things you can remember here. So it also inhibits Klebsiella, and it is given parenterally, primarily for infection caused by enteric bacilli. This is mainly used in case of infection caused by enteric bacilli. That important point you can remember here. Now, what are the nurse's role? So with this, I have completed the entire chapter of penicillin. So just a small discussion about the nurse's role. So nurse's role, the first and foremost thing you have to remember being a nurse is collecting the history of the patient, and you need to obtain the history of the medications that your patient has been on, and you have to really assess your patient before we start up with any medications. Check out for any history of allergies. So before starting or before administering any medications, any drugs, especially antibiotics, okay, it's always good to do a test dose, give a test dose and check out for any signs of allergy towards a particular drug. Then perform an intradermal sensitivity test of penicillins. Usually some of the patients, they develop allergy towards penicillin, so always check it out for by using an intradermal sensitivity test. And the patient who is allergic to penicillin, they are also allergic to cephalosporins. In some areas we will be incorporating cephalosporins once they show certain resistance. So we need to keep in mind if they are resistant or if they are allergic towards the penicillin, we should also remember they may be allergic to the cephalosporins too. So that important history. And in certain areas like carbonicillins and all, once it has been administered, always check out for any signs of fluid retention. Check out the cardiac activity of the patient. So these are very, very important to check out on your patient. And constantly go for checking out or monitoring the vital signs. The common care which the nurses have to carry out related to disease condition, they have to do. And apart from that, always check out for any kind or any signs of allergies. And if the patient complains of any pain or any kind of problems, okay, related to congestive heart failure like chest pain, and if you notice any changes in the pulse rate or in case of ECG, so immediately notify the physician, and at the same time ensure that the patient receives care in terms of emergencies. Okay, so these are the important things you have to keep in your mind. And there's just one more thing I just want to mention about is this I really found a bit useful while searching through the net. So the penicillin side effects, it will be good if you could remember it in mnemonic way. So you might have heard of the word abscess. So in case of abscess, there are certain things, certain alphabets which will be used. Okay, so A, it stands for abdominal pain or anaphylaxis. B stands for black tongue. C is not there. Okay, so instead of C we have D over here, and that is diarrhea. And E is not there because I use the word abscess, so you have to remember C is not there and E is not there. And instead of that, the S, okay, we have 3 S. In short, if I say SQ, we can say. So skin rash, okay, stomach upset, and seizures. These are the important side effects you can remember when it comes to penicillin. Okay, abdominal pain, anaphylaxis, black tongue, skin rash, stomach upset, and seizures. And for penicillinase resistant penicillins, okay, there are certain drugs, like I mentioned, there are certain drugs that comes under penicillinase resistant penicillins. Okay, so you can just remember as the mnemonic as CONDOM. Short, it is condom. Okay, CONDOM, and it is cloxacillin, oxacillin, nafcillin, dicloxacillin, oxalin, and methicillin. Okay, these are the drugs that comes under penicillinase resistant penicillins. And acid resistant penicillins, okay, I want you to remember the mnemonic vodka. Okay, I want you to remember the mnemonic vodka, and only change is instead of K it is VODKA. Instead of K we have C here. Okay, So V, it stands for penicillin B. O stands for oxalin, and D stands for dicoxylin. C stands for cloxacillin, and A stands for amoxicillin and ampicillin. Okay, so this is something which I found it very useful, and it's from doctors online. So I found it very useful, so I thought I could share it with you. So with this, I have completed penicillin. I hope you have understood the particular chapter. So till then, take care.